So we are here today. This is a wonderful opportunity that the Sikh community is trying to reach out to fellow Americans and trying to tell them who we are, even though we have been here for the last 100 years. So it's a great opportunity to work with you guys. Terry Nelson is representing FP1, and Corey Hunt is from Hart Research Associates, and Isaac Baker is from AKPD. What I really would like to know from each one of you, starting with you, Isaac, that the Sikh community is trying to educate Americans about our faith, our identity, turban beard, what it stands for. So in your experience, what is the most effective way to get the word out about the Sikhs?
Well, we did some really groundbreaking and insightful research with Corey's team to find out what the best methods and messages are to inform our fellow Americans about the Sikh faith and the culture. And it's been really exciting to see the findings, because what we found is people really respond to the values and the background and the similarities between the Sikh faith and culture and the values that have made this country great. Belief in equality and opportunity, gender equality for men and women, and a belief in hard work and tolerance of all of our fellow Americans. And when we find out that people are informed about these things, it really opens their eyes to the faith and makes them very, I think, predisposed in a positive way to learn more and hear more about Sikhs and Sikh Americans.
So in your experience working for President Obama's media team and trying to, especially a candidate from a minority community, do you find that the Sikh community will have a bigger sort of barrier to cross with our identity being associated with something very negative like terrorism or extremism? How do you envision this?
So I think there are those initial hurdles for people who don't have any background or have no awareness of the faith and the community. But what we've found through Corey's research is that when we provide them with facts and information about the genesis of the religion in India, the values that it holds that are so similar to our American values, and how much a part of communities all across America Sikhs are, that we really change minds and open people's minds to feel very warmly towards the community and the faith. And I think that's going to be really important.
Okay. So Corey, in your research and the pre-poll and post-poll, what did you find in terms of, are Americans ready to be educated about Sikhs? Will they have any apprehensions about a turban-wearing person calling themselves as Americans?
Well, I think Isaac is right. I mean, people do come to this and make some negative assumptions, but one of the great things we find is that the level of knowledge is very low, and people really have an open mind to learning more, and they responded really positively to the messages that we had, and they did show movements and attitude. So I think what's important is they don't have very firm or crystallized attitudes about Sikhs, because most people just don't know anything, and they were open to learning more, and their attitudes did change as a result of that.
So have you seen this before in this phenomena that people having a kind of a negative perception of something, and immediately when they know something about it, they immediately shift to a very, very positive sort of direction, like what numbers you were showing us, that there's a major shift like 18 to 20% among Republicans, evangelicals, and millennials. Is that phenomena, have you seen that before?
Well, I think this is a little different from what I've seen. A lot of research on either reducing prejudice or improving attitudes. You're starting with a group that is better known, and people have more fixed opinions, and that's a little bit harder to move, and so you actually see smaller movement. I saw a bigger movement here, and I think that's because people realized once they started hearing the messages, like, oh, this isn't really what I thought, and so they didn't have any preconceived notions to fall back on, and I think that actually makes them more open to moving more. And so I think this is bigger movement than you would see with most other groups, where people have more firm stereotypes in their head.
So we have Isaac Baker from AKPD, coming from a sort of a democratic leaning background and working for President Obama's media team, and Corey, you have worked with with the World Bank or Harvard University and Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign in 2008. So there are two very sort of different backgrounds coming together and advising the Sikh community. And now we have Terry Nelson from FP1, and it's great to partner with a group which has worked with President Bush's media campaigns, and also with Facebook and Ford Motor Company. So Terry, from your background, like from your sort of working area where you have much more understanding of Heartland America, although I'm not saying that you guys don't have, but sort of working with a more conservative and Republican constituency, how do you envision that the Sikh community can reach out to that big chunk of Americans?
Well, and I'm glad to be on the team as well, Dr. Rajwant, so thanks for having FP1 part of this great effort. Look, I think, as Isaac and Corey have said, we have a group of people who don't really understand. And what we found, and we've done work actually with other ethnic minorities, is that where there's a lack of understanding, what we have to do is provide it. And there's shared goals, there's common values, and so I think that this community, this Heartland community, this more conservative community, is going to be open to this message. Not because they're opposed to the Sikh community now, they're just unaware of it. And I think once we make them more aware of the common values that the Sikh community brings to this country, I think they're going to be very receptive to that message.
So the plan that a combined plan that we have created is running sort of ads on national cable television, plus running a social media campaign. Do you think this will have the desired change?
I think that we've got an effective plan to go forward with, and I think for people who are exposed to the message, I think the ad work is really good. And it's on message, and I think for people who are exposed to that message, they'll be very receptive to it, and it will have an impact.
So since you guys are media savvy or expertise on changing people's perception on issues and political positions, there are Sikhs within our community who feel that rather than spending money on media work or media outreach, we should be doing more social work. That way we will create more positive perception about the Sikh community. How do you envision, what would you say to that?
Well, I think we want to do not either or, but both. I think we want to make sure that it's a holistic effort. So we're going to be utilizing Sikhs and Gurdwaras on the ground in communities across the country, and having the face of this campaign be people in their communities reaching out to their neighbors and explaining their faith, bringing faith leaders together from across different backgrounds to share in this conversation. And so we're going to be doing stuff on TV to get our message out, online, and then we're going to be organizing, and you're going to be hearing from folks in their own communities on the ground, and that's the best way, neighbor to neighbor, to really make a difference. And so I think in this holistic, integrated approach we're taking, where we're going to use all these different channels, we're going to be able to really open people's minds and make them aware of the religion and the faith.
And we know, to hit a lot of people, we need to advertise, right? But we know the best form of communication in politics, in life, what movie you're going to go to, is person to person. And so those on the ground connections will make a huge difference to the campaign.
Corey, any message to the Sikh community?
Well, I think Isaac's point is really important. This isn't an either or, it's not a choice, and both of these I think work best going together. When you do social works in the community, that has a huge impact, but you only are reaching the people immediately around, and with this ad campaign you're able to reach much more people. And so when people start hearing about both things, they actually both bolster each other and confirm and validate it in their heads. I think we shouldn't be thinking about this as we have to choose one or the other, but both are extremely important.
Well, thank you so much. The Sikh community, this is the first ever effort by the very small minority religious community in America to reach out to fellow brothers and sisters all across the nation. And we are really looking forward to a wonderful partnership with all three of you. There are so many Sikh children who go through a daily experience of being bullied and face a negative environment. So your partnership with working with the Sikh community will certainly help many of those young children who are very proud to be part of this nation. ਸੋ ਭੈਣੋ ਤੇ ਭਰਾਵੋ, ਮੈਂ ਆਪ ਜੀ ਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਮੈਸੇਜ ਦੇਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਕਿ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ AKPD ਜਿਹੜੇ ਪ੍ਰੈਜ਼ੀਡੈਂਟ ਓਬਾਮਾ ਦੀ ਮੀਡੀਆ ਟੀਮ ਦੇ ਰਿਪਰੈਜ਼ੈਂਟੇਟਿਵ ਆਈਜ਼ੈਕ ਬੇਕਰ ਨੇ, ਕੋਰੀ ਹੰਟ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਹਾਰਟ ਰਿਸਰਚ ਐਸੋਸੀਏਟਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਐਸੋਸੀਏਟਡ ਨੇ, ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੇ ਵਰਲਡ ਬੈਂਕ ਲਈ ਕੰਮ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ, ਹਿਲਰੀ ਕਲਿੰਟਨ ਲਈ ਕੰਮ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ, ਹਾਰਵਰਡ ਯੂਨੀਵਰਸਿਟੀ ਲਈ ਕੰਮ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ, ਬਿਲ ਐਂਡ ਮਿਲਿੰਡਾ ਗੇਟਸ ਫਾਊਂਡੇਸ਼ਨ ਨਾਲ ਐਸੋਸੀਏਟਡ ਨੇ, ਟੈਰੀ ਨੈਲਸਨ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ FP1 ਕੰਪਨੀ ਨੇ ਫੇਸਬੁੱਕ ਲਈ ਕੰਮ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ, ਫੋਰਡ ਕੰਪਨੀ ਪ੍ਰੈਜ਼ੀਡੈਂਟ ਬੁਸ਼ ਦੀ, ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕੰਜ਼ਰਵੇਟਿਵ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕੰਸਟੀਚੁਐਂਸੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਕਾਫੀ ਸੰਬੰਧ ਨੇ, ਰਿਪਬਲਿਕਨ ਕੰਸਟੀਚੁਐਂਸੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜੁੜੇ ਹੋਏ ਨੇ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਤਿੰਨਾਂ ਪਾਰਟੀਆਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਰਲ ਕੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਪਲਾਨ ਘੜਿਆ ਹੈਗਾ ਕਿ ਵੱਧ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਧ ਅਮਰੀਕਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਿੱਖ ਆਇਡੈਂਟੀਟੀ ਬਾਰੇ, ਸਿੱਖ ਦਸਤਾਰ ਬਾਰੇ, ਸਿੱਖ ਧਰਮ ਬਾਰੇ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਜਾਵੇ। ਸੋ ਇਹ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ 'ਚ ਇੱਕ ਬੜਾ ਨਵੇਕਲਾ ਪਲਾਨ ਹੈ। ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬਹੁਤ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦੀ ਮਿਹਨਤ ਜਾਰੀ ਹੈ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਐਕਸਪਰਟਿਜ਼ ਨੂੰ ਅਸੀਂ ਯੂਜ਼ ਕਰਕੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਧਰਮ ਬਾਰੇ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਵਧਾਵਾਂਗੇ। ਸੋ ਆਪ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਪਾਰਟਿਸਿਪੇਸ਼ਨ ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਪੋਰਟ ਦੀ ਲੋੜ ਹੈ ਜੀ। ਆਪ ਜੀ ਦਾ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ। ਸੋ ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ ਸੋ ਮਚ। I know that I was speaking something that you could understand. But anyway, well, thank you so much for being part of this wonderful endeavor and journey.
Thank you.
Thanks.